Good morning, what is up everybody, and welcome back to the garden. Also, happy coffee, of course. The cooler morning weather has made it so nice to come out here and drink coffee in my garden. I'm so excited to share it with you today. If you're new here, my name is Alex and I grow in containers in Missouri, zone 6B. At least this morning it feels like 6B. Sometimes in the summer it for sure feels like 7A, but it is the end of September. A lot of things are changing very quickly in the garden and it is time to do a garden tour. This is where we're at right now, looking at the garden from a little bit of afar. You may notice that it is rearranged in some spots. We did add this big trellis tunnel. I think maybe half of it was up last time I showed you guys. I'm not sure, but we added this trellis tunnel, so I had to move some containers to put under there, which meant I had to rearrange some of the containers from over here. The garden right now is basically the remnants of what is left over of the summer garden, as well as just a few things that I've already planted for fall. Actually, we would have planted those together. If you want to see me plant those, check out the video just before this one. But I thought it was a good time to show you before everything changes. My average first frost in this area is in about 16 to 20 days, something around 20 days. So I am hoping beyond hope that all of my peppers just give me a few more peppers to bring through fall with me and into the winter. I'll keep them in the freezer, I promise. We are going to start down on this side of the garden as I usually do. First, I'll tell you, this big trench is the beginnings of what will be water, in fact, frost-free water in my garden. The spigot itself is going to be right over there, which is, as you can tell, much closer to my containers than me having to travel back and forth inside my house with 1-gallon jugs of water 50 times. So that is just a trench for the water line. The line hasn't been laid yet. We are planning to buy that on Monday when we go and get my load of compost. We're also going to get the rest of the plumbing material, and here before frost comes probably I will have water out in my garden, which is so exciting. This first little section of containers are shallow containers, all of them, well, more shallow than the other ones that I have, and only 3 of these are planted out. These short ones were garlic and onions in the springtime, and I had a couple of squash plants over there in the yellow ones during the summer. Those squash got absolutely ravaged by the sun. And yesterday, you and I came out here and planted these 3 containers with carrots. So these are the Bolero carrots from Johnny's Seed. They are a pelleted carrot seed, and my favorite carrot to grow thus far. This is coral carrots from Baker Creek, and this one is little finger carrots from Botanical Interests. I have these things on top of them. The metal wire thing is just to try and keep animals from digging in it, and then the plastic bags are my little carrot trick that I like to do. Carrots can be really tricky to germinate. If you let them dry out for even an hour during the germination process, they will not sprout. They won't. You have to keep them moist. So I use these plastic bags to keep the moisture in. Instead of the sun causing condensation that then just evaporates into the air, it gets caught up by that plastic bag and then will settle back down into the soil, keeping it moister for longer. There is not anything planted in these containers other than those carrots that we just planted yesterday afternoon. So there are not any sprouts to show you in there yet. And then I separated the containers and created this sort of little walkway because it was a struggle to walk around all of my containers just to get to the other side of my garden. So I tried to separate it out in something close to the size of a garden bed-ish, like a raised bed, and this is working a lot better for me. So with this little section of containers right here, I put the deeper containers on the north side and the shallow containers on the south side, so that the shallow containers still get just as much sunlight through the winter hours, and the deeper containers will help block wind and weather from the north side during the winter. So there's not anything in these first 2 shallow containers, and this one just has flat leaf parsley that I have been slowly using throughout the season. This didn't start really growing until after the cucumbers died in the heat that were in this container, but now it is doing pretty good. This actual container doesn't have anything in it, but these are Cosmos. What the heck? This is chocolate mint, but this is a volunteer Cosmo, and a lot of those probably are. That's cool. I actually hadn't noticed that. That's so cool. I loved the Cosmo that was planted right here. It was a really pretty purple color. And I have more seed, but it's always nice when they start themselves. I'll probably have to pull that out of the mint container and plant it somewhere else, though. In this larger container, we have one datil pepper. This is the spiciest pepper that I grow, and it is around 300,000 Scoville units. I gave all of my peppers a good soil refresh. I put my homemade compost from my compost bin into the soil here and gave them some granular fertilizer as well as some liquid fertilizer, and they have bounced back so well. Look at all those flowers. The canopy is so full. The leaves are so nice and dark green. So pretty. Maybe I will actually get to make a pepper sauce out of those spicy peppers this year. That will be fun. In this next container, we have California Wonder bell peppers, and there actually are a few bell peppers on the plant. A ton of tiny ones down here, and then this branch has 3 on it. This is a separate plant, but the same kind of bell pepper. And there are some growing on there. It is very exciting. For the past few years, I've had trouble getting my peppers to live all the way up until my frost date because August here in Missouri is just so hot and dry. But this year, I expected it to happen. I kept my homemade compost waiting, and then when the time was right, I took out some of the soil that was already in with those peppers, added in my compost, mixed in some granular fertilizer, and I've really been staying on top of watering the garden, and it has made all of the difference. After those bell peppers, we have this one tiny jalapeno plant. This is what my soil was looking like before I refreshed it in the other containers, so we went from this to this, and as you can see, the plants in the fresh soil are doing much better. I have been giving this one liquid fertilizer, so it is coming back, but not nearly as quickly or as thick as the other peppers are. So I really doubt I'll get anything off of this pepper, but I'll just let it keep growing until I need the space. Down here in this end container, we have one serrano pepper, which has some peppers on it. This was the first one to start fruiting again after I refreshed them. And look at all these tiny little baby peppers. So freaking cute. And there are a lot of flowers on there. This is a Sugar Rush peach pepper, and you can see where I cut it back to right here, and that it is grown much past where I cut it, and has a bunch of little flowers. The Sugar Rush peach peppers are my favorite peppers that I grow, and I left all of my ripe peppers on the plant way too long earlier this season, so I have not gotten to use any Sugar Rush peach peppers, so I'm really hoping that it puts on at least some large green peppers before the frost comes. Last thing in this little grouping is this fig tree. It is a Chicago hardy fig. It started doing really well when I put it outside, but now it has some kind of disease or something, and I don't know what that is, but the leaves don't look great. I have been fertilizing it, so I'm not sure what that is, but I don't grow a lot of trees, so I don't have a lot of experience in that. Here's another little walkway, or big walkway rather. I will be putting cardboard on the ground just to cover it up and make sure that grass doesn't overtake and grow, because it is a bit tedious to mow in between all of these containers. In this next little group of containers, this is where a majority of my peppers are now. This first one with all of these bright white flowers is another serrano pepper plant. It is doing so good. Oh, actually this is 2 serrano peppers. They are doing so well. Got some sprouts of something growing down here. I don't know what that is. Huh, that looks like something. But I don't fully know what. It could just be clover or like weeds, I don't know. But these serrano peppers are doing really well. I definitely think I will get some more harvests of serranos before for us. Then right here, just next to the serranos, I believe these are Anaheim peppers. Yes, these are Anaheim peppers. I did harvest a few of these earlier in the year, and I just threw them into some other random dishes. Didn't really do like a specific thing with them. But again, my peppers are looking so good. I'm sorry that it's so bright out here. It's legitimately 8 o'clock in the morning. I tried to get out here early. Oh look, a ladybug. Thanks, dude. You do a lot of work for me around here. Appreciate that. So in this container here, we have a few different kinds of dwarf snapdragons. There's the Snapshot Burgundy Bicolor, Snapshot Yellow, and those are Snapshot Red dwarf snapdragons. I love these. They are frost hardy. They lived over the winter last year. I had that red variety. They did die back in the very beginning of spring, but then they reseeded themselves, so I was happy with that. And then I bought these two, other colors. They're just so pretty. I really love them. I guess a lot of people don't know that the seed pods of snapdragons look like little skulls. This one, there we go. That looks like a little person's face. They look like little skulls on your plant. And I think that is perfect for Halloween coming. There you go. That's a good example. And that is where the seeds come out of. And then these are some more bell pepper plants. I believe these might be Sunbright bell peppers, which is a yellow variety, whereas the other one was a red variety. And then in this container right here, I believe these are poblano peppers, and then one banana pepper, I'm pretty sure. A lot of the tags got lost when I was rearranging and adding new soil, so some of them are a little bit questionable until the peppers are actually mature enough for me to see what they are. These pots on the ground, which are actually perennial flowers in some of them that need to be removed and replanted into a permanent location, because I do not like keeping these perennial bulbs in containers. It's a hassle. We have this 4 square of red containers. This is where I did have potatoes growing, but I have just been using this soil as extra soil for filler for the other containers that I've been messing with. I never got around to planting more potatoes because I actually ran out of my potatoes. I used them all before setting any aside for seed, so I didn't get another growth of potatoes, but that's fine. We can always do better next year. And my green stock is still not stacked because I have still neglected to get some pavers from the hardware store, but soon, as soon as maybe on Monday when I go do all the other stuff, I'm going to get maybe like 4 or 6 pavers and then stack this up on top of it so that the little feet aren't just in the dirt. And in here, we just have a few different kinds of strawberries, some that were just bought from the Amish at an auction, so I don't know what kind they are. There's one variety called Honey-O. There's some called Ozark Beauty. I know I have more varieties than that, but I don't know what they are. They're just, anytime I find cheap strawberries, or my mom, she buys them. But the rain has really helped them to bounce back and start producing a lot more foliage. Now we're going to go over here to the end of this trellis. This first container just has 1 pepper in it. It is a California Wonder bell pepper, I believe. And it also has that little stuff growing in it. No, that's clover. That's grass. What is this? What is that? And that? What is that? I have no idea. That container doesn't have anything in it. This container is a dying butterfly pea. Those flowers are really cool because they're a natural food dye, but I just can't ever get the plant any bigger than that for some reason. The next plant's right here. I'm pretty sure these are Notapino peppers. Again, the tags got lost when I was messing with the soil. That is what happens. but I'm pretty sure these are not jalapenos. They could be jalapenos. This container is 2 of my few remaining tomato plants that look really, really terrible. The entire stem of both of these plants looks like this, and some of these are little root nodes, I know, but these like bite marks, that is not from roots. I don't know what that's from, but it is unhappy. It's like rotting on the plant. Even though the tops look like this. That looks like a normal tomato plant, but it's not doing good. So this one is a Dr. Witchy yellow tomato, and this other one is a yellow pear tomato. I love both of them, but they just did not bounce back. In this next container, we have English thyme that is growing back from sticks after drying out so much in the summer. And then we have 2 tomatoes. This one's basically dead. It's a Costaluto Genovese tomato. And this one is looking dead, but then at the top is just barely producing. And this is a Sunrise Bumblebee cherry tomato, my favorite cherry tomato thus far. So I'm happy that it is somewhat regrowing. And this is just a polka dot vinca, a little flower. There is nothing growing in this container, but who knows? Maybe that oregano will come back like that thyme is. This is Goblin Gaillardia, and it was in this container when there was also Cosmos and Zinnias in here, but it was getting so shaded out that it was doing nothing. So now that the Cosmos and Zinnias are gone, and I've been watering it a lot, we've been getting a lot of rain, it is doing a lot better and taking up almost the entirety of the top of this little pot. There's nothing in there, and the only thing actually growing in this container is this Dr. Witchy yellow tomato. Again, looks really bad down at the base and all up the stem, and then after I cut it, it just started flourishing again. It is in fact touching, it's actually higher than the trellis is right here. We've got a few baby tomatoes on there that hopefully I will get to eat. A lot of flowers, and these are probably the last tomato flowers I will be seeing this season, so I've been doing my best to really enjoy them. In this orange container, wow, the tag actually survived on this one. These are not jalapeno peppers. That means these are jalapeno peppers. Oh, 2 of the tags survived on this one. Next, we have this container that did have oregano in it, and it died in the summer heat. It was like, no, absolutely not. And then in this last container, we have a Napa Rosé cherry tomato, which dropped some tomatoes, and a polka dot vinca. This, I don't remember what tomato this, oh, this was a yellow pear tomato, and it has since died. And then this container on the end just has another thyme, which is starting to grow, and some dead tomato plant. All of this back here is just random stuff that sometimes I use and sometimes I don't. I've been slowly getting rid of a lot of stuff from this giant pile so that it's not just cluttered everywhere. And this is what I have left. It all kind of fits in one tote, and then a couple of outstanding things. This ladder is a new addition to the garden because of this arched trellis that I can barely reach the top of. So here is that trellis arch. It is built out of 2 cattle panels, 6 T-posts, and then wire ties for attaching the T-post to the trellis, or attaching the trellis to the T-post. My love bug pounded in the T-posts for me. I helped him put on one of the panels, and then a friend helped him bend and put on another of the panels, and then I personally wire tied it all together. He just used zip ties to make it easy while putting it together. And this thing is pretty tall, so it's actually taller on this end because the ground slopes downward. So if I'm all the way over here, I can just, if I tiptoe, I can touch it, but I can just barely not touch the top. Whereas over here on the front side, I can touch it just fine without tippy-toeing, but it is still pretty tall. I had to use that ladder to put the wire ties up at the top, like this, so that the panels are connected. I am very happy about having this trellis tunnel. Just walking backwards through the tunnel like this and taking a video and watching it, so happy. I'm so happy. I did get a wheelbarrow recently, which has already been helpful, as you can see. Much easier to shovel a bunch of soil into there and then move the wheelbarrow somewhere else to shovel it out than it would be to shovel individual shovelfuls from one bucket to another, or to just move the container that isn't on wheels, obviously, to try and make it close to each other. So this new setup is a game changer. This side of the trellis, which is the left side when you're looking at it, I've got 5 black containers, and these first 3 we just planted together yesterday. So in this one there is Nero Toscana kale, and then 3 different kinds of peas along the outside. The peas are Spring Blush, Sugar Daddy Snap Pea, and Sugar Bond Snap Peas, and I just mix them together, so there's some of each kind in all the containers. And then these 2 containers both have Dazzling Blue Kale in the middle, and then Snap Peas along the end, same as the other. This container has been planted out for a while. I just moved it over here because it matched with the black. And it is some chives, which are flowering, and I'm going to let them flower and hopefully drop seed and then sprout for me in the spring voluntarily. That'll be great. And then we've got some more dwarf snapdragons over here, Snapshot Burgundy Bicolor and Snapshot Yellow. And then this looks really bad right now, but I can tell that there's growth coming down from the bottom. I should probably trim it back and let it fully regrow. But this is native phlox. It is a perennial. It lives near the rivers around here. We were at the river one day and I saw it and I loved it. So we dug some up and brought it home, and it's been in my garden bed ever since. One of my favorite things that I grow, even though it looks gross right now. You might have noticed these terracotta pots, or some of them are plastic, kind of in between the containers in the corners. Most of them don't have anything in them. All of the terracotta for sure is empty, but all these plastic ones are daylilies. They look just like tiger lilies, but they don't grow like tiger lilies. They grow like a bush, like a daylily. So those are tiger daylilies. Then this last container here is my pride and joy of Sugar Rush peach peppers. I've been looking at the flowers on them for a while, but now they're actually opening and starting to produce little peppers. I cut these plants back to like this height. They were really tiny, and it's been a few weeks now, and I gave them new soil and I've been watering them, so they are extremely happy with their new conditions. And then over on the other side of the trellis, these are my Pippin's Golden Honey Peppers. These peppers are so delicious. They're so sweet, so crisp, so beautiful. They start out green, they turn purple, and then to orange when they're ripe. The flowers are purple and white, beautiful little things. Oh, this pepper is a must grow in my garden from now on. I really love it. You guys ever buy those sweet snacking bell peppers like in the little zip bag at the grocery store? Stop buying those. Grow this instead. They are so good. And there is not anything else in these containers. I do have these 3 ready almost to plant in. They have a granular fertilizer, and I mixed up the soil pretty well. They just need to be watered, and then I'm going to add a layer of compost on top and plant directly in. So those are almost ready to be planted. Last but not least, we have this rock garden bed. It's hard to see because it's so bright right now, but it is made out of rock. All of this rock is sourced from my property, and I just wanted a nice flower bed. I did put this together in kind of a hurry and without a lot of a plan, so this is actually going to be taken down pretty soon. Then this area with all the stumps is going to be cleaned up and removed, so that next year my love bug can help me build basically the same thing but better, and maybe actually mortar the rocks together so that they don't fall apart. This will be leaving soon, but just for the winter. But in it are some zinnias that are somehow still living. Barely any green in those sticks of brown. These were some cosmos, and then these tall ones were sunflowers. This is the only sunflower that still has a head on it, and I need to actually come out here and chop it off because I want to keep the seed to grow more sunflowers next year, and birds have started to take them. So, I could probably just snap it off there, you think? Are those zinnias growing? I think those are baby zinnias. Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. There's more goblin gaillardia down here. Those are for sure zinnias. Oh my gosh, we have zinnias growing. Okay, well, I absolutely destroyed the stalk, but I got the sunflower off, so now the birds cannot steal all of my seeds. Okay guys, that is what the garden is looking like. I have to go to work, and it is starting to get hot outside. I did get that sunflower. I am so excited for this fall season. I do have to get to work now, so thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you all in the next one.